Hello and welcome back to the Commander Crucible, where today I wanted to try something different. I have been playing Magic the Gathering Arena for quite some time, and just thought it'd be something cool, something new to share with you guys. I'm certainly not the best at it, but I have a lot of fun playing, and as you can tell, I do not have a ton of wild cards, so I think the purpose of this series of gameplay is not going to be high-level Tier 1 mythic ranked gameplay. It is more or less going to show you how you can play Magic Arena on a budget. So you can see the myriad of decks here that I have, but today I think I would like to focus on this Naya Midrange build that I've been toying with. So this color combination is just one that I thought of the other day. I have not seen it a lot in the Climb to Mythic ladder, and I have not really seen it a lot in the play queue. So let's go ahead and break down the main parts of this deck that I think can really help us in Standard. So cards that I really want to show off in this deck are definitely Mangara, the Diplomat. Let me change it here so we can see this better. All right, that's better. So in the deck, the cards that I want to highlight, we have 2 Mangara, the Diplomat. I didn't think we really needed 3 or 4. He's a 2/4 for 4 mana, 3 and a white, so he's a good blocker, especially with his lifelink and his big body. But whenever an opponent attacks us with creatures, if 2 or more of those creatures are attacking us or planeswalkers we control, we get to draw a card. And whenever an opponent casts their second spell each turn, we draw a card. So it's punishing aggro decks and it's punishing the Spellslinger decks that are currently in the meta. We also have 2 Shatter the Skies, a great board wipe from Theros. Each player who controls a creature with power 4 or greater draws a card, so more often than not, we're going to have our opponents draw a card, but sometimes we might draw a card, but still it clears the board and saves us as we need to get to the late game. I just added in 2 Gem Raisers, as this card is pretty great in the Standard meta with a lot of enchantments or artifacts coming out. You can just slap a Gem Raiser down on our non-humans when we mutate it. It also boosts the base power toughness and gives reach and trample to the creature we mutate onto. So if we hypothetically mutate onto our Rada Heart of Keld, that makes her a 4/4 with reach and trample and first strike on our turns, also with the ability to pump to get +X/+X, where it's always most likely going to be 6, as that's the ability cost in general itself. So I only have 2 Radas in here. As long as it's our turn, she has first strike, and we may look at the top card of our library and play lands from the top card of our library. So we can filter out the top of our deck, we can hold lands in our hand for later, and we can just get those lands off the top. If we hit a little pile of 2 to 3 lands, we can just start to dig through those. There's also 2 Cultivates to just help us ramp into our later turns. 3 Bone Crusher Giants, because Bone Crusher Giant is amazing, and for its instant adventure cost, it is a shock, but you can't prevent damage. It costs 1 more, but it's still just great board control. Also, once the shock resolves, we later get to cast a 4/3 Giant for 3 mana that also deals 2 damage to someone targeting the Bone Crusher Giant. So it is a great return on our investment of either board control or just hitting another player for 2 damage. And then we get to cast a 4/3 that's a good blocker and can punish our opponents for targeting it with removal. So I also have 2 Scavenging Oozes just to control the graveyard decks, such as like Proxa or Uro, because they are insanely good in the meta. So this is just here to maybe gain us some instant life early on, make this bigger. If the opponent can't deal with the Scoos, then it just becomes huge and really pads our life. I also have 3 Paradise Druids, not 4, just because sometimes this deck is able to use Rada and Cultivate to help get up to that mana level, but Paradise Druid for the early game. I have 3 Heroic Interventions. I actually don't see this card in many lists at all, and I think Heroic Intervention is insanely good. There's been a lot of times where someone either dumps a lot of mana into a Mass Manipulate, or they just try and remove one of our key pieces later in the game, or earlier in the game when we have 2 mana open, and we're able to use Heroic Intervention to basically give all our permanents hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. So those board wipes don't work, and the spot removal doesn't work either. I also added in some card draw, because obviously this deck has no blue. I added in 3 Thrill of Possibilities, so another classic combo that has been becoming very popular is the Elspeth Conquers Death, coupled with Ugin here. So when we draw Ugin and we only have 4, 5, 6 mana, can't cast Ugin. Obviously he's 8. So what you do is you need a way to discard him to the graveyard. So that's what our Thrill of Possibility is for. So as an additional cost, discard a card. So we're always going to discard the card, even if Thrill gets countered. We're still going to be able to discard the Ugin, get it into our graveyard, draw 2 replacement cards. That way we can cast our Elspeth Conquers Death. We get to exile a permanent to help control the board and keep us alive. We need to wait 2 more additional turns. And then we get to return Ugin for free from our graveyard without paying any mana. He enters with another loyalty, we get a board wipe, or we just get his +2, we go right into his -10. I've also included 1 Elder Gargaroth, as I only have 1, and this card is a monster on the field. It has Vigilance, Reach, Trample. Whenever it attacks or blocks, you choose one of the following. Create a 3/3 beast, gain 3 life, or draw a card. So this card just does everything you need it to. You're either going to create an additional blocker for those aggro decks, you're either going to gain 3 life if you're down the life, or you're going to draw a card if you just need something more in your hand to close out the game. I also included Baneslayer Angel because it is the white mythic for M21. It's definitely not a powerhouse as Elder Gargaroth, but it's got Flying, First Strike, Lifelink, Protection from Demons and Dragons. Again, it just keeps you in the game. It's a blocker in the air for 5 mana. It's not bad. It's definitely got a lot of those nice keywords. So we wouldn't hate to draw into this with life gain, but the Elder Gargaroth definitely gives us more options to choose from. Then we have Terror of the Peaks, the other mythic, the red mythic from M21. This card basically never resolves. It sucks when you cast this card and your opponent just always has a Lava Coil, they always have an Unsummon, they always are just going to send it back to your hand, kill it, or exile it, and it is tough, but I love Terror of the Peaks. I think it's cool. It's a really cool design. So there's 2 of it in the deck because I have 2 of them, and this is a Naya deck, so we're going to try and include all the cool new M21 cards in the colors. And then to round out, we have Questing Beast. We've got 3 Questing Beasts. A great card. I don't really know what more to say about this. I think you all know how amazing Questing Beast really is. It's got Vigilance, Death Touch, Haste, can't be blocked by weaker creatures. Combat damage that would be dealt by creatures you control can't be prevented, and when Questing Beast deals combat damage to an opponent, it deals that much damage to a planeswalker they control. So Questing Beast just does quite literally everything. It's 4 mana for a 4/4. Great return on your mana and power toughness. It's got Vigilance, Death Touch, and Haste, so it comes down with Death Touch. Can't be blocked by little creatures, so the opponent's going to have to sacrifice a bigger creature if they want to block it. It will trade with any creature, and it has Vigilance, so when you attack, you get to hold a blocker back. Honestly, Questing Beast is great. That's obviously why I have 3 of them and looking for a 4th. But Questing Beast is awesomely overpowered. I don't think it will be banned. I don't think it should be banned, but holy cow, this card just does everything that you need it to. It could single-handedly win you a game. So if you have a Questing Beast or don't have a Questing Beast, get one, put it in your decks. Any deck that's green. Alright, I think that is the deck. We also have our lands that I won't really explain because they're just lands. So let's get into it and let's record some gameplay. Alright, so our first starting hand, let's look at this. So we got 3 mana, all in our colors. So we got Mangara, who's a 4 mana. We have Rada, who's 3, and then 2 Terrors. I'm not in love with the 2 Terrors at the peak. I'd rather have them in the deck as we start, but we're starting with all 3 colors, and we have a 3-drop. I'd love to have a 2-drop or I don't know if we have any 1-drops. I don't think we do, but let's just keep because I love seeing all these colors, so we're going to try and keep them. So let's say hello, and all right, beloved princess. Oh, we get a hello back. All right, yeah, so we get another mana. So we got 4 mana from Mangara, so we can take a few hits now. They obviously have lifelink. Let's see if they drop a black. Nope, they do another white. So we got mono white, it looks like. All right, so that might be something we have to deal with. So we don't have a turn 2 play, so we're going to go ahead and drop the Scry land. Let's see what we get. So we got another land, so I want to bin that because we will have 5 mana for the Terror in the double reds. So let's try and avoid more lands. All right, they get another Healer's Hawk. I'm going to get hit for another 3 right here. They gain 1. Okay. All right, let's see if we can stop this. They missed a land drop. They play Speaker. Ooh, we go to Shatter, so we can control them later on if we need to. So we have the green, we have the red, so I don't really need to play a Pain land or a Shock land as I'm already down a life, so I will drop the white, and let's play Rada. Hopefully we can get the blocker out. It is Thrill, and we do not have the Ugin to discard the Thrill, so maybe later on we can discard one of our terrors. So let's see, he's got 2 mana open. We have Rada without First Strike. So I cannot block this. I could trade with this. Or I could just try and block Speaker. I think I want to keep the Rada for now, so let's try. Let's see if they pull any tricks. They only have 2 mana. Okay, Yep. Alright, I'm at 10. They gain a ton of life. If we can draw some removal for that Hollowed Priest. Alright, they're gonna dump their hand, I think. I think the play here is actually, so I'm gonna actually have to take 2 damage. We have 2 white sources, so I think the play here is actually to pay 2 life. And I think we just have to Shatter. I definitely don't want to. It gives them a card, but it wipes that big board that I was going to possibly face lethal from next turn. So they draw a land. They play a Pridemate. Okay, that's fine. I think we just do a tapped land here, and let's drop Mangara. He's got that big body and the lifelink, so hopefully they want to attack into us with that Pridemate. We can just block. Okay, he Banishing Lights. That hurts. And we take 2. Another land off the top. Let's play Scoos, and let's try and gain some life. Let's just auto pass the turn. We don't need to Scoos until they're passing back to us. We can also Thrill, so he draws, still at 3 mana. Is it Banishing Light? Really, 3? Yeah. Alright, so he's passing back to me. He doesn't want to attack, so he doesn't have any way to gain life. So let's just go ahead and start exiling his graveyard. Make the Scoos bigger. I don't see a way that mono white brings something back from the graveyard, but might as well. We will also Thrill. Let's get rid of 1 terror. Draw some cards. Alright, there's a Gargaroth and a Paradise Druid. So that leaves us with enough. So we could actually go terror into Druid. Drop the Druid. Pin the Pridemate. Go to combat. Attack the Scoos. And let's see what they got for us. Shatter. Shoulda known. Alright, so he shatters as well. We can go Forest into Druid into Gargaroth. Now we have no cards in hand, which hopefully he doesn't get another wipe. So he plays a land and he passes. And we get a Questing Beast. I think for now, I already hit the button. My bad. I don't think we don't need the mana for the Questing Beast, so we will go to combat. Let's attack, and we will draw a card. Alright, we get Gem Razor. So I think what we want to do, we will mutate onto our Paradise Druid. Hopefully it can survive. We'll go over. We'll get rid of that. It's exactly what we put Gem Razor in the deck for. So we'll just end turn. We don't really need to drop our Questing Beast. We have our 2 blockers. We can just hold it. Hopefully we can try and hit some form of lethal next turn if another Shatter doesn't come out. Okay, another Speaker. Sorry, no 4/4s for you, pal. Alright. I'm just weary about dropping my Questing Beast right now. He has 4 mana open. I don't know what removal, instant speed removal white has. I mean, Swallow Whole I can see, but I think we just dump and try and hit lethal. So let's just, everyone go to combat. We'll draw a card. Cultivate. He blocks the Mangara. Alright, he's at 1. Let's just cultivate. We don't have anything better to do, so it doesn't matter what we grab. Does he have the wipe? No. GG. Stella Vanquish. GG. Okay, our opening hand, we have 3 mana. We have no turn 1, 2, or 3 plays. We do have all 3 colors, but no. I like this more, but we could just try and hold. We ditched the intervention. We could try and hold for Questing Beast into Gargaroth. We could try it. I don't love it. And we're on the play. Yuck. Let's just dump a forest. There you go. Oh, terror. We're gonna get hurt here if we don't start drawing some mana. We need a green. We might be set. We might be good. We're playing Adventures. Jund Adventures. You sure you didn't want to put blue in there? Okay, he plays Edge Wall. He's got 2 mana for, I would assume, Bone Crusher Giant. And we drop Bone Crusher Giant. So I think we need land, which we don't have. We're just going to crush the Innkeeper. Get out of here. And I guess we have to pass back. So we draw 2 Questing Beasts. We have 3 4-mana cards. Alright, so in this situation, so my reasoning is we don't have double red. If we get double green, that opens up most of our hand. So I'm going to use Thrill, and I'm going to discard the Terror. So he's got Response. I'm assuming he's got a Bone Crusher in hand. So we draw, or we get Rada, but with Bone Crusher, I don't think that resolves. Yep, there it is. So he's just gonna crush, and he's probably got something on his next turn. Ooh. So I have to discard 1, 2. Oh, I am going to discard my hand. I think here. I don't know. Yep, and then the last one resolves, so I discard the rest of my hand. That hurts. And we get another land. I guess we just play Bone Crusher and hope for the best. And he plays Garrick. I think we are too far behind here. So we have Thrill, I can't cast it. You can double block and kill the Bone Crusher. He's got to destroy target creature. If you guys hear that lovely meowing in the background, that is my adorable little Russian blue cat who thinks that he needs food right this very moment. I apologize. So as we only have 4 lands, 1 card in hand, being a Thrill a possibility, let's just see what the opponent can do. So he dumps out his Edgewall Innkeeper and a Bone Crusher Giant. Let's just block. Alright, we get Heroic Intervention. Don't really have a good way to win here, so let's just ditch that. 2 more lands. These would have been great earlier. Drop a land, no attacks. Let's see what our opponent does. Creates more wolves. Escape to the wilds. Great card in Temur Adventures. Well, not Temur Adventures in this case. I guess it'd be Jund Adventures. This 3rd Lucky Clover. If he just Bone Crushes me right now, do I just die? Okay, so he holds back his Bone Crusher. I don't know why he doesn't think that he has this. It's the ultimate on the Garrick. -6. You get an emblem with creatures you control, get 3/3 and have trample. Another land. Yes, let's go. We have this in the bag. We now have 6 lands out in the 7th in our hand. We're good to go. This is right where I want to be. He's on the edge of his seat. We draw another land and a Nugan. We are in control of this game. Yeah. Go to combat. Don't stop playing your turn. Just go to combat. I got 1 card in hand. Go to combat. Come on. And he just wants to play. I don't feel like. Let's let him. Should we let him have fun? Should we just concede? He's got it. There's no way I live. I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to waste your time. Let's concede. GG. G freaking G. Good game. So as you can see, the problem with running a few higher mana costing cards in this deck at least is if you don't get a very good early game draw, if you don't get that Paradise Druid or Cultivate, it could really hamper you in the early game. So as I was saying before, for those of you who missed it, a definite problem with this deck is when you don't draw a lot of that early game ramp, such as the Paradise Druids or Cultivates, or just things to protect yourself, almost like Scavenging Ooze, drop on turn 2 and make bigger. Or the Radas when you're just loaded with 5 drops and then you draw into an Ugin and no land. But this hand, so we have our Rada, we have our ECD, we have our Ugin, and we have Baneslayer. I wish this was different, but we do have the 3 colors. We have a Scryland we can drop on turn 1, so I think we keep. Let's just try and roll out here. Let's see what happens. So he drops a Scryland, the Postman. Okay, we draw another 5 drop. Let's drop Temple, another ECD. We don't need that right now. 1's good enough for now. Okay, Mardu. So is it Knights? He doesn't play a turn 2. Neither will we. We'll drop a Shockland tapped into pass. So we get the Gem Razor, which we can mutate onto our Rada if we need to. When we need to draw another green source, I may have double. Play Bone Crusher Giant, but I don't see the need. We need to do Rada. Let's start filtering out some lands. All right, we have another Scryland, not the best. If we drew a Mangara or something after this, that would be great. Oh, look at that. Mangara called it. So let's do our Temple of Abandon. I think we keep Mangara on top, so he's got a response. Let's see what he does. Now we keep Mangara on top, so Mangara can really help us block and just stay in this game. Rada has First Strike, so let's see if he wants to block. He's going to make me sacrifice an attacking creature. Target opponent sacrifices a creature that attacked or blocked this turn if you control Gideon Planeswalker. They're sacrificed 2. Okay, don't really see that card a lot, so let's resolve it. End turn. Outlaws Merriment. This deck is kind of weird. You don't really see a lot of Mardu sacrifice, but I'll make an outlaw. I think, it's because we can't. We cannot do that. We got Bone Crusher. We drop Mangara. We hold Bone Crusher up, I think. No, I would rather. Let's just crush face right now. We draw the Mangara. Let's drop Mangara, hold him up for the lifelink. So he's going to create a token. Hopefully he goes to combat with both. I don't see him going to combat with a token. It's some life gain for him. If we get a 5th land, so we have double white, we have double green. So he's got Mayhem Devil. I'm going to be anxious of blocking here, because he could have another Gideon's Triumph. So I'm actually going to do, let's just try and roll it. Let's see, no blocks. We'll see what he's got. I really don't want to get hurt by that Gideon's Triumph again, because I think if we get the 5th land, we could either ECD the Mayhem Devil, or we could just drop Gargaroth. All right, we get the land. We get the land. Do we try and bait removal with Baneslayer? We could try and bait some removal with Baneslayer, or we can just go all out and try and drop our Elder Gargaroth.
He could still have another Gideon's Triumph, which I'm weary of. So let's bait first with Baneslayer. He does have mana for Bedevil. He's got the 2 blacks and a red, so I don't know. I don't really know this deck particularly that we're playing against. An Outlaws Merriman Mayhem Devil Sacrifice deck. So now he doesn't have the mana for Triumph, so let's just go attack. Because we have Mangara as we have Baneslayer, so we'll just gain 2 life. 1 damage to any target. No, how could you? 1 damage. I thought we were friends. The postman. Face. Alright. He is touching cards. He sacrifices, so we have double red, we have double green, we have double white. So he must have wanted to mana fix for himself, I guess. It doesn't really hurt us any. I think we just go green. Oh, well. Definitely didn't see that. We need a double red. We need a double red for that Terror of the Peaks whenever we draw it. Not bad. Alright, you got 2 mana. Rope timer is started. He drops the Foulmire Knight. If we draw a Terror of the Peaks, I'm going to be sad. He did not. ECD. I think he might be desperate. He's got a full grip. Or almost a full grip. He's got 6 cards. I think the play for now is we go Razor onto Baneslayer. We go under. It's going to mutate. We'll knock that enchantment. We just don't want him to run over us. So we have Flying, First Strike, Lifelink, Reach, Trample. These are all tiny creatures, so I think the life gain from Baneslayer is going to be more effective in the long run. Mythos of Snapdax. Each player chooses an artifact, a creature, an enchantment, and a planeswalker. Whoops, I didn't get finished reading that, sir. And Mangara dies. From among the non-land permanents they control and sacrifice the rest. Alright, that was a good recovery, so we can drop our mountain. Now, we still don't have a way to discard Ugin, so I think we just play out Elder Gargaroth. Maybe he can make us sacrifice it again. Jumps the table, he gets 5 mana. What can this deck do with 5 mana? I'm not sure, but he gets the... I love doing that. I used to run a Rakdos Sacrifice deck, and you just play a couple Mayhem Devils and playing an opponent who plays a bunch of Fabled Passages and Ugins. So he's gonna attack, but I think we just... What do we do? What do we do? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. So we need 2 for Ugin or Thrill. We can discard the Ugin and play the ECD. So we could block right here and draw another card. Or we can just chance it, go to combat. But still, the Gideon's Triumph just bones us both ways. So I think we just block here. We get to choose. Do we want the life in this situation or the card? I think we want the card. Gideon's Triumph. Again. But I think next turn, if we have nothing to do, we can either play Bone Crusher. There's a Thrill. Alright. And a land. So we go land, Thrill, get out of here, Ugin. Draw 2, play ECD. Get out of here, Mayhem Devil. Goodbye. And he deals 2 to face. Maybe I should have gained a life with the Gargaroth, but drops another passage. So I think our next turn involves Sacred Foundry, obviously, and then we can go Crusher into Cultivate. He drops a Crack Bridge Troll, so I make 3 1/1 goats. It almost, I don't want to draw. Alright, we get another ECD, so let's just do ECD right away. Get rid of the troll because we do not want him gaining life and drawing cards right now. Yeah, I think we just go for it. We'll get Ugin next turn. I think we just crush her. Let's just try and get some board presence. No attacks. Alright, he scries bottom. That's what we like to see. Hack dose. Alright, and then our third trigger, we bring Ugin back, give him the loyalty. So he has protection from each hack dose attacks. Is he indestructible? I don't think he's indestructible. So let's just plus? No? Protection from each converted mana cost other than 3. Oh, okay. I mean, I feel bad to do it, but we could just ECD. Ooh, other than 3. Misplay. My bad. My bad. Let's just get Ugin up. And then drop a Scoops. We don't really need the Cultivate right now. So he has protection from that. I think we just, other than 3. Protection from each converted mana cost other than 3. Bone Crusher's 3. Let's just see what happens. That was a misplay. That was a misplay. My ECD, I definitely should have held that. That was all me. All my bad. Leave an F in the comments if you know it's good for you, because rip, first time gameplay in the misplay. Okay, we have Rada. I think let's just bring back Gargaroth, because Gargaroth is awesome. With a 1/1 counter, nonetheless. So Ugin, let's just drop Rada. So I want Ugin to live. See, there we go. We filter land off the top, another Ugin. So I want Ugin to live. So let's just bone the Foulmire Knight. We could cultivate, or we could, yeah, let's make Rada even bigger. So we get rid of that Ugin off the top, which is, alright, we get Gem Razor. We get Gem Razor. Let's see. Protection from each other than 2. Guess what Scooz is, 2. So he knows that Ugin's coming. If he kills it this turn, alright, another Clack Bridge Troll. This is where it would have been good to have that ECD. Ooh, definitely didn't think about that, but that's okay. So return, let's return Baneslayer. Might as well. So he's, unless he plays Gideon's Triumph, I don't see a way that he lives here. In the case that something happens, we will go to combat. We will all attack. We will attack with these 2 as he's tapped out. We'll gain 3 life this time, to be sure. Plays Gideon's Triumph. Resolve. Doesn't matter who I sacrifice. Let's just be safe. Do the Rada. Get out of here. And that's game. GG, the postman. Made me work for it. Alright, starting hand. This is better than what we've seen, I think. So we have an ECD, which late game removal, 5 mana. Tear the Peaks, also 5 mana. But we start out with a turn 2 Bone Crusher Giant into a turn 3 Rada with 3 mana. So we have our turn 1. We can go into this to Bone Crush, and then hopefully if we get another land, we can hold the Fabled Passage for the white, which we don't even really need. So hopefully we get to play Rada on turn 3, which we could sacrifice playing the Bone Crusher Giant right away. So we can go Temple, we can go Fabled, untap the 2 lands, play the Mountain, play the Rada turn 3. So yeah, let's just Temple. It's a Questing Beast. So I think here the Questing Beast could help us because with Rada we could get to that 4th land. But in this deck, you don't want to be too risky. You want to make sure you have your lands. If I keep that Questing Beast and don't draw my 2nd green source until turn 6 or 7, then that turn 4 hypothetical Questing Beast is nothing. So he drops Forest and says go. So I think if it's not mono green, you can play Pelt Collector. I don't think we need to hold the Bone Crusher Giant for turn 2. So I think we just go and let's get... Do we get a white source, or we can get double reds just to make sure? Let's just get white. And we get a Paradise Druid. Now what's better? Paradise Druids, we could have 4 mana hypothetically. I think we could drop Paradise Druid. So we're up on mana. They have 2. They now have 3. Play Garrick's Harbinger. Alright, so that's what we'd like to see. So we could drop ECD right now. Or we can try, I think Baneslayer is actually better here because we drop Terror to try and set up for other creatures entering. It dies to the Harbinger, whereas the Baneslayer is a 5/5 with first strike. So if he tries to go to combat with the Harbinger without a combat trick, such as a Growth Spiral, the Harbinger just dies. So if he goes to combat, I don't know why he would go to combat without some trick. So he got the Primal Might. He's got the Might, and he goes to combat for 7. That hurts. We'll give it to him. Nice. Nice. What does he grab? So now, since Baneslayer's in the yard, I think what we want to drop, let's go ahead, dip out our ECD, buy Harbinger. So now we can get Baneslayer back with the 1/1 counter. Thrashing Brontodon, buy ECD. Sacrifice Thrashing Brontodon, destroy target artifact or enchantment. So he knows what we're doing. He rams through first with no mana left on the Brontodon. So can we kill Thrashing Brontodon? I don't think we can. I think we play the Druid. As much as I want to get Rada out, I think the Druid is just our best chance later in the game to get the 5th mana for the Terror or a double green for the Questing Beast. This is mono green removal, I guess. He drops, gets rid of his Brontodon, gets rid of my ECD. That hurts, but I got rid of the Harbinger. I don't know if it was really a fair trade. All right, he drops a Questing Beast, which I will not be able to block. And I will take 4. So he hasn't played anything small, so let's just crush Bones on his face. We draw the land. So we have 5 lands. Paradise Druid can't block. So I think we enter tapped. Let's just play our own Questing Beast because we can trade beasts if he wants to. Does he want to trade beasts? If he doesn't, yeah. If he didn't, I would deal 4 to him and then have the Vigilance Death Toucher on the blocking side. So he plays into the ECD. Great top deck. Thank you, Shuffler. Get out of here, Gigantosaurus. Choose attackers. We don't really have anything to do, so let's just chip. Chip damage. Get in there. Alright, what can the mono green deck do with 7 lands? Plays another Questing Beast. So I take another 4. He's got 3 lands. He did get that Garrick Planeswalker, so what's he doing with that? So we can drop this. Now, we play that. 5. I think Terror helps us set up better than Rada and Bone Crusher. So let's just drop Terror. We can take another 4. Hopefully he doesn't draw one of those Primal Mites or Ram through. Now he plays Castle Garenberg. Tap for the 6. So it's a creature spell and raise Forerunners. That is that game. I don't think it's game, but so let's see. He tramples over, he does 7. Block 4 here, he does 2. I think we just block here, we want to stay alive. So end race Forerunners was definitely a good, ooh, -1. Did not calculate the math. Didn't calculate it. All right, mono green, I see you, good game. I think in that last game, we definitely would have been set up. We had the Terror out. We were going to drop either Errata, Bone Crusher Giant, deal 4. Play the Bone Crusher Giant, would have killed the Questing Beast. It's just top decked wonderfully. Plays the Gambit with the end race Forerunners. He had Garrick in his hand, so he had some utility, but he just wasn't getting creatures to stay on the field. So it was a good game, good removal. If I would have, maybe a board wipe would have helped me out, maybe not. There's not really a ton of spot removal in this deck other than the ECDs. And him destroying our first ECD, if we could have gotten our Baneslayer back with a +1 counter, 6 counters in the air, first strike, we would have been gaining that much life back. I think we would have been fine. We would have been able to survive a little bit, let our Terror do some work and control the board for us. So, and if you're wondering why there's not a lot of spot removal, such as the red Scorching Dragonfires or Fire Prophecies, my thoughts in this deck was to have the Terror of the Peaks and the ECD be our spot removal. The ECD is more or less graveyard recursion to get our Ugins back, but it can also get back our creatures, as you've seen. But the Terror of the Peaks is really meant to be our spot removal. So we draw a Terror as quickly as we can. We play other creatures that can control the board rather than wasting slots in our deck where we're going half and half creatures, half and half removal. This play queue is taking unusually long, 1.5 minutes. I'm sorry that you've had to listen to me talk for that long. A draw. Yes, good game. That was a thrilling game of Magic. Okay, let's see what we get. We have no white mana. We have 3 in our starting hand, which is fine. But we have a Heroic Intervention and a Gem Raiser, so let's get that out here. All right, we have 2 mana, 2 Mangaras, Paradise Druid, Bone Crusher, Questing Beast, and a Scryland. I'd love to have at least 1 more land in this hand and not to have to discard a card, but I think this is a good hand. This is definitely better than the first hand. So let's keep 6. We will ditch a Mangara. We really only need 1. We'll play our Scryland first. It's another land, and let's keep it on the top. So that way we can have double green for our Questing Beast, and that's our 4th mana. So if we get a 5th, it sets us up for the Gargaroth, Baneslayer, or Terror. So I think keeping the land on top this early on is not bad. So we get that. Do we have a turn 2? We do have a turn 2. Let's just shock early, play our Druid. All right, green-white. What do you got? Green-white. What's green-white? Enchantments. Plays a green. Green-white Conclave Mentor. Okay. So let's drop a mountain. So we have 4 mana, but I think... So if one of our 1/1 counters are put onto a creature you control, that many are put onto that creature. Instead, when Conclave Mentor dies, you gain life equal to its power. I think right now, since he doesn't really have anything, we could get greedy and drop the Mangara and try and set up life gain and card draw, or we could get greedy and Questing Beast and attack. But I think what we want to do here is crush Bones before this thing gets too big. He's going to gain 2 life. And in my experience, attacking with Paradise Druid never ends well for anyone. But well, we need 4 mana, so I think we go no attacks because our entire hand is 4 mana. If we don't mutate Gem Raiser, which we could mutate onto Paradise Druid, make it a lot tougher. But he does have white. Alright, he shocks anyway. Plays Mechagodzilla, the weapon. I get Thrill, I think. You feel bad to do it, but let's just mutate. We do have to tap the Paradise Druid. Let's go over, let's kill that Mechagodzilla. Get out of here. Pass to you. Plays a gain land. Gain them 1. You may gain the 1. You have my permission. Your bow. Your bow. All right. Now I think we could start getting greedy. So we can trade here, so I think, well, Mangara can't trade with Yorbo. But Mangara has the lifelink. So if we had another land, I think we would be better set up. So we have to keep tapping our Gem Razor, which sucks, but next turn, if we don't get anything, we could probably thrill the intervention, even though I love holding an intervention. It's not too good with too little of mana. We could pass to him, see if we need the intervention first, but getting another land here is going to be very nice, if we can do it. He's got 3 lands in hand, or 3 cards in hand. He plays another Yorbo. So I draw a card, that's his second spell for turn. Is Yorbo not legendary? Legendary creature, okay, that's what I thought. So we get the Shatter. Puts the counters on the Ozlith, very nice. A 9/9 Yorbo. So I think what we do here, as much as I don't want to lose Mangara, let's just block so we don't take 9 to the face. We'll gain 2, and we drew that amazing shot at this guy. Whoa. So we have the ECD, but we don't have the land. So if we do that, if we shatter now, we draw a card and they draw a card. Next turn, we could thrill. Yeah, okay. Let's chance it. All right, we draw our castle. Let's play the castle tapped. So now it comes to the point, if he drops creatures, they get 9 1/1 counters. So he plays Heliod, the indestructible enchantment. Does he have 3 mana for something else? No, he doesn't. Okay, so I think this is an important setup turn. Let's go ahead, cast the Cultivate. What do we need? We don't need double red, we don't need double white, so I think what we just do, we grab red, green, drop that, play that, then we can hold up Thrill. We can do something with that, so we'll pass to them. Okay, another Conclave Mentor. Figures. This is gonna hurt. So we don't really have anything. Let's try and get some answers here. Another Questing Beast. Doesn't save us. Doesn't save us right now, so I think we play a Questing Beast, hold up a Death Touch blocker, and then if all else fails, we could drop Scooze or Crusher. We're kind of starved on the green to get Scooze a lot, but let's do Scooze, and then maybe next turn we can just start exiling their graveyard and gaining some life. So we have Death Toucher. Does he want to trade? Because I have Vigilance. So if he takes it, I still have a Vigilance blocker with Death Touch. Yep, he blocks. Okay. But he gains 12. Conclave Mentor, good card. And wow, we might be deep in the hole on this one. All right, 45 life. Can we come back? Can we do it? Gains another life. Puts another counter on his Heliod. Got 2 cards. Goes to combat, puts counters on the Scooze. Okay. Okay. Do a Plains. What can ECG exile? We can't exile the Ozlith, but I think as much as I want the Ugin to be in our graveyard, we just need to get something back. So we're going to exile the Heliod. And we'll drop Crusher and just go to combat. All right, 3 cards, ton of mana, 10 counters on your Ozolith. What do you got? What do you got? Probably gonna fight my Crusher. Gonna fight my Bone Crusher. Paradise Druid. Not what we want to see. Play another Questing Beast. Play another Druid. Go to combat. Let's just try and run him out of creatures, I guess. And he takes 4, so he must have a plan. Let's see what he's got. He's got 3 cards in hand. Wildwood Scourge. Yep, I was waiting for that to come out with the Conclave Mentor. He goes to combat, so he knows that we have to block. Trample. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, we draw another land. But let's see. What do we get back? Gemrazor doesn't mutate. Questing Beast is another Death Touch. I think we have to do Questing Beast because of its Death Touch. You hate to see it. Chop a land. Let's just start exiling the Skoos. Maybe we can make Skoos huge. We get 1 more card. That Ozolith is going to be massive. Do we attack now and trade, or do we see what he drops? I think we attack now and trade. He's got 40 life. He could definitely spare it, but I wouldn't. I would. Ooh, he's gonna try. In turn. This is looking like a Commander game with that high life total. Alright, can he buff the Scourge? Obviously, it's going to get the 15 counters from the Ozolith. What else does Wildwood Scourge do? When 1 or more 1/1 counters are put onto a non-Hydra creature. Wow. Okay, so he drops the Knight of Autumn. I assume he's going to put the counters on the Knight, get more counters on the Scourge, goes to combat, puts the counters from the Ozolith onto the Knight to put more counters on the Scourge. Yep. A 2019 Knight of Autumn. Where are you, Gemrazor, when I needed you? So he holds back. Let's just keep pumping Skoos. Come on, Ugin. That doesn't look like Ugin. So here's where I think we hold back our Questing Beast, because if we don't, he gets his 2020. So let's go no attacks in turn. So I would like to choose which guys. I would like to have that power in this. So he drops a land. He's got 1 card. I have no card. I'm top decking. And he is about to be top decking, hopefully. So he goes to combat. He has no counters on the Ozolith. Goes to combat. I think, yes, so we pass the blockers. Block, maybe? We have 1, 2, 3, 4. We can exile stuff from our own graveyard, so I think we block here. And then maybe. So we got 8. Bye, Mandara. You did your duty. Bye, Bone Crusher. And let's see, last one, bye, Paradise Druid. 28 counters on that Ozolith. Get another questing beast. I'd love to get an Ugin here. That Scoo's being massive helped us though. We did it. We came back. You all saw. He had 45 life at one point. We did it. We ran him out of creatures. Questing Beast, MVP. Questing Beast, definitely. So, those of you who probably cut the audio off, start. Questing Beast definitely was the MVP in that game. Holy cow, Questing Beast King. I do all three of my Questing Beasts. Brought a Questing Beast back with ECD. Death Touch blocking, Vigilance attacking for the win. The Ozolith, Conclave Mentor, +1 counter deck. We prevailed. Alright, let's see what we got. We have the 3 lands. We have a Shatter. We have double white here. We have a Scryland. We have Terror. Scoos. Questing Beast. Could try and roll it, but I don't think so. I actually like this much better. We are missing all forms of white mana, but we have a way to get it. We have Rada to get it from the top, and there's the white. So we will just play that entering tapped. Okay, so now we have 4. We probably will draw a 5th. We're playing mono red. Playing mono red. We're gonna have to take a hit here. Gonna have to take a hit from turn 2 from the mono red with the runaway Steamkin. So he doesn't pump this Steamkin. That's odd. Very odd. We'll do that. We can get Cultivate and play Gargaroth next turn. I don't think they have a way to deal with Gargaroth, so I think we definitely get those. Play the white, hold the red. That's fine. We can survive mono reds turn 3, and then basically play our turn 5 when they do their turn 3. Okay, so he's Rakdos, not mono red, but still, the 1/1 runaway Steamkin is not the most terrifying thing. Let's drop a red. Let's just try it. Let's try and resolve the Gargaroth. Safe from Lava Coil distance for now, so he's got 4th land, another red, no double black. So we're safe from Bedevil, and he's looking at the Gargaroth, Purphros's Intervention. Figures. Figures. Is that even 3 mana? No. So let's just do that. Probably should have played Rada first. Alright, it's Thrill. We can do Heroic Intervention, block the Steamkin. That sucks. We ramped out Gargaroth like a boss, and then it got taken from us by a Purphros's Intervention, a card you don't see very often. So, paid 3 for X. Scorching Dragonflyer, how about no? How about get that out of here?
This is for you.
What if he shocks me to the face? Gives another counter to the Steamkin. Okay, Robber. I doubt he goes to combat with Robber, though. Red. Name Red. Coward. Let's see, you got any way to deal with enchantments?
Things away.
I want that Gargaroth back. I want my Gargaroth back. Rada doesn't have Vigilance. So we'll go no attacks. We have Cultivate on top. I think next turn we do not play the Cultivate. We go Thrill. Okay. Makes the token. Makes the token, which has to attack. Robber's coming in. Robber. Let's see what he does. Let's get rid of his robber right now. Then we can heroic if he tries to shock us or something. Don't like that. Don't like that. Let's just heroic. We don't want to lose our robber. We're already so far behind on board presence. Ouch. Okay, we have Shatter. We have Shatter. We want to draw Shatter because that helps us. And we have Mangara. So what I think happens is let's just Shatter. Let's get rid of that Sky. Shatter it. Let's see how he can recover. So we have a nice recovery. So we have all our mana to cast Mangara, plays Torbrand, and we will get our Gargaroth back. So thank you. What do you got? What do you got, Rakdos? You're one black. What are you gonna do? Looking at Mangara. What does Mangara do? Nobody knows because he's never played. Another Profrose's intervention. Come on. We want to hold Mangara. We want to keep him. Double Thrill. We have it. Drop it. Get that Torbrand out of here. Heraldic Banner with all those creatures. That we might get a robber. Second spell, Mangara triggers, so he's gonna get to steal the top card of my library with that. So what did he get? A land. Rip. Drop that. Get Ugin in here. I think we get a concede right here. I think he concedes. We got ECD gonna pop 3. We got Ugin at 9. He draws 1 card. It's a land. I think he's done. Plays the miner. Nope, he sticks around. Yep, there it is. There's the concede. So all right, that was 5 games. We lost 2. We had 2 heartbreaking defeats, and we had 3 triumphant wins, especially against that odd life-gainy 1/1 counter Ozolith deck, which was cool to see, but really happy that we picked up the win on that. So as you can see, I've been tweaking this list, not extensively, because I think it's really good where it is. I don't remember an early iteration where it was much different than this. I think a lot of these cards were in there from the beginning. The only difference was, I think we were running 3 Mangaras, we had 3 Radas, 3 Ugins, no Thrills. I can't remember what else was in there. I think we might have tried to do the Spore Web Weaver, Heroic Intervention, Terror combo, which just really wasn't working for us. My original thought was that we had red for control, white for board wipe, green for ramp, and then I was just going to be able to tutor and ramp and stall and get that combo off. It just didn't work. I found that with the 3 Ugins, it almost was too much, where I was seeming to draw an Ugin when I didn't need him, either early on or when I just had 7 mana. I needed the 8, but I just didn't have a way to discard Ugin. I didn't have a way to cast Ugin, and I was sitting there for almost 2 to 3 turns in a row, not doing anything, letting my opponent cast their creatures, cast their spells, hit me, hit me, hit me, and then by that time I had 3 or 4 life, and Ugin would then come down, but they just play haste creature, whatnot. So this is where the deck became refined. And as you can see from today, we had over 50% win rate. This deck I don't think it's going anywhere in the Mythic ladder, but it is surely fun. It's got a lot of cool cards that you don't normally see, such as our Mangara, which I think he's not a shining star in the deck because he doesn't always draw the cards, because your opponents can play around him, as the spell slingers probably will hold their second spell. They'll just flash it in on your turn. And aggro decks tend to hold back their smaller creatures, and then they go to combat with larger creatures. So you're still kind of forced in that way of blocking a larger creature. But Mangara having lifelink does help. The Skoos gets us back in the game. The Skoos can get huge if your opponent doesn't have a way to deal with it. And as you saw in our last game, Heroic Intervention was just there to give our stuff indestructible. You can block with a weaker creature such as Mangara or Rada. Give them hexproof, indestructible. It also helps, like I said in the beginning of this video, you play Terror of the Peaks, immediately your opponent is like, okay, I got a Lava Coil that in response. Heroic Intervention saves your terror, then you're set up for your next turn, then you can start hitting them, getting their life total down, or clear their board. Now, what I really loved in this deck that we saw a lot of today, got to showcase, was Baneslayer Angel and Elder Gargaroth. I only have one in the deck, one of each, but surprisingly, it came up almost every game where I was either able to hard cast it or I was able to bring it back from the graveyard using Elspeth Conquers Death, which is one of, in my opinion, one of the coolest and best mono-white cards we've seen in a very long time. It's 5 mana, it's very expensive, but you put it in a non-mono white deck, you get to exile big things, then it kind of controls the second turn that it's around. Your opponents are hampered with paying the extra 2 mana for their spells. Then you get some graveyard recursion, so you can bring back planeswalkers and creatures, and Elspeth Conquers Death makes them bigger. So that 5 mana that you're paying into ECD definitely pays off when you can just get back an Ugin with an extra loyalty, or like I did in our last game, you can get the Elder Gargaroth out with a 1/1 counter. So a 7/7 Gargaroth is definitely better than a 6/6, or a 6/6 Baneslayer is definitely better than a 5/5. So I hope you liked my take on Naya, and hopefully it encourages you to build Naya yourself. Give it a try in the play queue, and if you play it in the Mythic ladder, drop a comment below and tell me how it works for you. If you'd like to see more decks and more gameplay like this, leave a comment. Tell me how bad I did and how many damage points I missed, or how many misplays I made, or tell me to keep it up and give me some deck ideas that you'd like to see played in MTGA. Thanks for watching.